think I'm live now or recording video. I really don't know. I'm not a tech wizard, but so part two of my video about us going to court with a tenant. Basically, just again to summarize, I kind of got into a little bit about what our process is and what we do. The bottom line is the tenant moved out. We withheld some money for cleaning and carpets that needed to be done, and they didn't like that. I mean, we sent a huge initial statement that the law says you're allowed to do is you're allowed to include what's called reasonable estimates for any kind of damages or anything like that you don't have an invoice for it yet, because the law is very clear. It says the tenant gets within 21 days postmarked. The tenant gets a statement back detailing any charges or deductions from their deposit, the remaining funds of their security deposit, and any invoices for deducted, charges. Okay. In the event you don't have invoices, because to get everything done and coordinated and vendors in there and get things repaired and whatnot, and then get everything all done and invoiced and paid and into the mail by 21 days, the law understands that that's not always doable. So you are allowed to make what's called a reasonable estimate, right? A reasonable estimate, a charge against their deposit. And you're required to later update that charge with the actual invoice. And whatever the difference is, money. If you reasonably estimate $250 for something and it costs $200, then you owe $50 back to the tenant, right? So in any way, this tenant, we made reasonable estimates for charges of some damage items there that I wasn't sure. I wanted to investigate and have vendors go out there and check. I just try to be fair. That's the bottom line, is try to be fair as you possibly can, and then you're always going to win, right? We made some reasonable estimates for some work that needed to be done in the house, some damaged items and whatnot, because I wanted to send some investigators out there, some vendors basically who work in these things, patio blinds and plantation shutters and such. And I wanted to find out, was this caused by excess wear and tear or not, or did they just fall apart? Was the blinds that fell down, that patio cover, was that old, or was it So that kind of course, that was, tenant was very upset about all those things, saying we didn't break that, it just broke, it fell apart. And I explained to the tenant, like, look, that's okay. It's all you're going to get the difference refunded to you once we find that to be the case. I just have to, again, I have to support our position to the tenant and to the owner. The owner doesn't want to just have to pay for the stuff because it broke, and he'll say, well, the tenant broke it, right? And I have to be able to, have an expert, a subject matter expert, come in and say this patio cover was old, it's corroded, it fell down because of that, which is what happened in this case with the patio cover. So anyway, big list of charges to the tenant. A lot of her deposit was held back. She didn't like that. I explained it to her. She still didn't like that, or maybe she didn't understand what I was saying. I don't know. But then that's fine. Then we got new invoices back. We got the vendors out there who looked at it. The subject matter experts looked at all the damaged items. And when it came down to it, the only thing really that the tenant, everything else was normal wear and tear. All those charges were fine. So we're going to refund all that money back to her. The only thing that we charged her for was carpet cleaning and cleaning of the house. Over 150 pictures showing the condition of the house, with dead bugs on the windowsills and trash left around the house, and food in bags in the fridge, and just whatever. It's a 3,500 square foot house, big house. Carpet cleaning was $600, and the cleaning was $600. And before the tenant moved in, we had those invoices for carpet cleaning and cleaning before the tenant moved in. So my position is, turn the home back in the way you got it. That's the most fair way. That's fair to the owner, fair to the tenant, right? Well, she didn't. She said, well, I cleaned all day, and I worked so hard cleaning that house. And then, like I said, I had 150 pictures of the property after they moved out, which did not show that it was super clean. And the tenant had spilled some bleach on the carpet. I didn't even charge for that because the carpet is about 10 years old, and it's useful life. To be fair to the tenant, again, I didn't feel like it was necessary to charge her, right? Still didn't like that. Didn't like it. I updated her. I kept the $1,200 from the deposit. Sent her a letter explaining everything. Sent her all back the rest of the money. Still was not happy. consulted a lawyer who then, advised them to go after us for bad faith, 3 times the deposit. Um, just, I don't know. I don't know why she kept going, right? But she did. And so anyway, we went to court, and I just basically explained to the judge the same thing I'm explaining to you right now, is that, I have invoices before they moved in. They lived there. They moved out. I have no invoices. So that means they didn't turn it back in with the same standard they received it with, paid for professional cleaning, paid for professional carpet cleaning. So I did that and charged them, and that's it. And the judge basically, long story short, I know, too late. Long story short is that the judge said, yeah, basically, I don't know why we're here. And so that's it. So lessons learned there. Like I said, we didn't have a legible move-in document, and we did not have pictures that move in, and that's all based on, honestly, that's my fault. I did not train the actual leasing agent who we used, again, a one-time thing, to do the move-in, to explain fully what's needed. And so anyway, that's the key. Everything else in our process worked, and we prevailed in court, which is fantastic. It's unfortunate that we had to go all the way to those links, but it turned out for the best. So, all right, that's a little lesson on how to, because deposits are always an issue, right? So this is how we get around having an issue. We document everything from the very beginning. Take a snapshot of the property condition from the beginning, because tenants and owners, they don't, again, like I said yesterday, the memories kind of get blurry, especially when they have money. I don't have money involved in it, so I just document everything and remain objective, and that's the most fair way I found over the years. So all right, that's about it. Everyone have a great weekend and enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's not too crazy and windy. Take care.